The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rule. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the suspects believed to be responsible for two separate shootings in the Garden Villas area 1 week ago in court today to answer charges. The two incidents occurring last Monday at different times in the same area. Today, the suspects were arraigned before different courts but on similar charges. Sabrina Brown has our top story.
Police stood guard around the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center Monday morning as a small crowd of onlookers were kept at bay. The three suspects were taken to court to answer charges in connection with the island's two latest murders. 33-year-old Steve DeRosa of Limewood Lane and 28-year-old Kendrick Colebrook of Frobisher Circle appeared before Magistrate Debbie Ferguson and were charged with murder. It is alleged that on March 31st, the man did intentionally and unlawfully cause the death of 38-year-old Sean Andrew Smith. The two were also charged with the attempted murder of Austin Roll. Smith was gunned down in the area known as the Ghetto on the night of March 31st. Austin Roll was also shot in that ordeal. DeRosa and Colebrook were not required to enter a plea to the indictable offense. A preliminary inquiry will be held on the 18th of June at 11 a.m. The men who were not represented by legal counsel were remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Meantime, 22-year-old Evna Philome was arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Helen Jones in connection with the murder of 22-year-old Leonardo Pierre. He was gunned down during the early morning on March 31st. Philome was charged with intentionally and unlawfully causing the death of Pierre. The victim was shot several times to the upper body while in the area known as the Ghetto. Philome was not represented by an attorney. His matter was adjourned to June 10th for a preliminary inquiry, and he was remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, also in court today, 36-year-old Dwight Wilshcombe of Bayshore Road, West End, was charged with unlawful sexual intercourse. It is alleged that the incident occurred between the 16th and 17th of March involving a 14-year-old girl. Wilshcombe pleaded not guilty and elected to have his case tried in the magistrate's court. The matter was adjourned to the 9th of July. Bail was denied and he was remanded to Her Majesty's prison. He was represented by attorney Rankin Johnson. Two men are in police custody after they were arrested for possession of dangerous drugs. Reports are that on or around 6:30 Friday, officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit, acting on information while at the Locayan Harbor, searched two males and several pieces of luggage. They discovered 6 clear plastic bags, each containing a quantity of suspected marijuana. Now, both males, who are ages 24 and 35 years, were arrested and taken into police custody. The estimated weight of the marijuana is 20 pounds and its street value is $20,000. More than 6 oil tankers now anchored offshore in Hepburn Town, a source of frustration for Assistant Fisheries Superintendent Clement Campbell. Campbell telling ZNS News this afternoon that he believes the tankers could be doing serious damage to the reef in that area. He contends that the tankers are being allowed to anchor a mile offshore, which he says is a bit too close for comfort.
All of them are anchor, and when they drop the anchor down, it has to drag at least 40 to 50 feet before it gets a grip. So it damages up all the ground, the seabed. So and it takes forever for that to grow back. This is so wrong. They can't do this in Texas. They can't do this in no Louisiana or nowhere where there's oil field. So I asked Vopak or Broco to take these 7 oil boats they have out here out further in the ocean, at least 5 or 6 miles out.
Assistant Fisheries Superintendent is adamant that the tankers should not be anchored so close to shore. Campbell says he has received numerous complaints from fishermen in that district who feel their livelihood may be threatened.
Because I know what an anchor does when you drop it. It drags and drags and drags. And those boats weigh more than, 200,000 tons or something like that? And they put it, and then the breeze is 25 to 30 knots. That's more pressure on it, pull it in this way. So lots of damage can be done with this. And I just asked them to move it, It doesn't look good, and I don't like it, and the persons living in this area don't like it. Because there's a group of men just left here about 10 minutes ago. They're upset about it. They just were sitting here. And I asked them what they think about it. They said this is wrong. Now, if they could see this, the powers to be should be able to see the same thing. You know, and by airing this, I hope that the person see this who in charge take some action. By tomorrow morning, these boats be out at least 5 or 10 miles out, and this anchor be up off the reef.
With an official from Borco who says while they appreciate the concerns as it relates to the fishing grounds, the tankers are anchored 1.5 miles offshore, which is a continental shelf designated for anchorage on maritime charts. He says the anchorage area is clearly set out on maritime maps that is controlled by the government's port department. And after months of training, business seminars, and compiling the ideal business plan, participants in the LNet Empowerment Foundation presented their business ideas before the judges this past Saturday. It was the final attempt to sway the judges and win $20,000 to pursue their dreams of becoming young entrepreneurs. It was the last opportunity participants in the Power 5 Challenge had to sell their business ideas to the judges in hopes of winning $20,000. With Grand Bahama's sluggish economy, these participants say they have become even more passionate about starting their own business. The 25 contestants presented their business plans before the judges on Saturday, and among them were Benet Benaby and Shamika Hanna.
The judges gave really good feedback, but it was very nerve-wracking. But I'm humble and glad for this opportunity and thankful for the presentation.
We had some mixed feedback. I think overall they really liked the concept. They had a few questions about how it would actually be viable, but we had some really good financial information provided. So we think once they go through that, they'll realize that this business has conservative revenues, but it's still going to make a profit at the end of the very first year.
The competition is the brainchild of CEO at LNet Maritime Limited, Albert Hepburn, who says this process is all about empowering Bahamians. The participants had to undergo 4 months of training at a business workshop, create a business plan as well as a logo. He says this is to ensure that if they do not win the challenge, they are still prepared to move forward with their dreams. Participant Terry Moss says the seminar is what he will always remember.
There was one speaker who focused on the need, that although you can focus on consumer goods and such, but if you have that need, that refuelable need, you will always have business. And I thought that was very poignant for her to say.
The Power 5 Challenge has remained a buzz on social media, and challenge coordinator Natika Wade says many residents are excited about the future of this competition.
This process has been an empowering moment for me personally because I'm able to help carry out the vision of Mr. Hepburn with the Power 5 Challenge.
But out of the 25, there can only be 5 winners. Regardless of the outcome, participants say this opportunity can be considered once in a lifetime. If possible, they are encouraging other Grand Bahamians to take part the next time around.
Go for it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. You don't really get this. Nobody just gives money out like this, and us in Grand Bahama, we really need it.
I think anyone that's going to give to the community is someone that should be respected. And I respect the fact that these persons have put in the time to mentor young people, to take their entire Saturday to listen to business pitches, because that could be daunting, but they're doing that, and they're doing it because they want to help. And I think that's admirable.
The winners of the Power 5 Challenge will be announced on April 14th. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. It is expected to become a signature event for the Ministry of Tourism. The first GB Band Festival hit the ground running this weekend, and it was a musical salute that was enjoyed by all. The Ministry of Tourism is excited about its success in this new addition to the island's tourism product. Here's Megan Shepard with this report.
Grand Bahama's first band festival held over the weekend on Pioneers Way. Residents and visitors alike were treated to a show by the island's best musical talent. Assistant Director of Culture Eddie James welcomes spectators to what he says is only the first of many cultural initiatives to come.
Today is the first of the band festivals, which hereafter will become an annual event. I represent the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and our mission is primarily to ensure that we develop and expose all that is Bahamian and all the talents that we have, both past and present, and what we see futuristically.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force Rangers bringing a different type of entertainment to the event. The high school students displaying some of their intense drills. The Bishop Michael Alden High School Choir also adding their talents to the mix. The day's special international guest, the marching band of Fort Myers High School, put on a spectacular show that wowed the Grand Bahama community. Music director Mark Dolberg says when he first visited the island, he met a gentleman who shared his passion for music and how the island's musical culture was in need of a boost.
When I went back to the States, we started a little push to get some instruments from the communities to dust off their instrument in the closet and bring it in. And my goal today was to get as many of the kids playing a donated instrument so that when we were done, we could donate our instruments and spread the music and keep music alive all over the world.
The band included about 100 students who donated some $18,000 worth of instruments. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The interim executive team of the Grand Bahama Christian Council working to restore transparency and trust in that august body. The council is planning two big events to unite the Christian community and put the council back on a progressive path. Chairman Bishop Ricardo Grant says the first event is a meeting for all pastors and their assistants tomorrow, April 8th at the Universal Household of Faith at 7 p.m.
We want to send out a clarion call to all pastors, all senior pastors and their assistants to be in attendance to a major meeting. I cannot stress strong enough how major this particular meeting is. It is a meeting in which we, the executives, all past presidents, will bring all pastors of the community up to date with all of the events up and coming, as well as all decisions that have been made and everything done by this executive team reference to the Grand Bahama Christian Council so that we ensure accountability and transparency.
Bishop Grant says another powerful meeting of the saints is set to take place early next month on the Independence Park.
On the 4th of May, prior to the election, we're looking to do a healing and communion service, an island-wide healing and communion service. The venue for this is the Independence Park, and we're looking to do the largest communion service with healing on its wings here in Grand Bahama among the believers, among all and sundries here in Grand Bahama.
Once again, the pastors' meeting is set for tomorrow evening at Universal Household of Faith in Hawksville at 7 p.m. What kind of father does every boy need? Well, that is the question the Falcons Boys, Groom and Sporting Club will attempt to answer during its annual conference this month. Club leaders believe committed and involved fathers are needed to bring change to the many social ills impacting society today. The conference, planned for April 26th at Tabernacle Baptist Academy, will cater to close to 1,000 men. And coordinator of this all-male event is Education and Club Director Darren Roll.
Our overall theme is building youth is better than mending men. But this year we're going to target fathers because we believe that this is one of the areas where we're really falling down. And when we say father, we don't mean just a father of an 18-year-old. No matter how old your child is your child. And I think one of the areas where we're facing tragedy is this age between the age of 18 and 30 with fathers in the lives of those young men. So that's the reason why this year we've chosen that theme, that we're trying to hit home. What kind of father does every boy need?
Tabernacle Baptist Academy and Pharmachem Limited are two avid supporters of the Falcons Boys Club. Pastor Alpheus Woodside and CEO at Pharmachem, Randy Thompson, say they're already seeing some positive results.
It takes a village to raise a child. And I think that this is the concept here that we are seeing. When you see all of these partners that are here with us today, these are part of the village. And they are pitching in and they are helping to raise our children, and yes, and truly they are our children. These are the young men. If we do not invest in their lives today, we will be in horror tomorrow. And so this is why I would appeal to the general public to get on board and to support this with your prayer and also with your gifts as much as you possibly can. It is not how much you give, but it is that you give. And that is all is expected of you.
The Ministries of Education and Youth, Sports and Culture are also endorsing the April 26th Boys Conference. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we return.
Everybody, welcome to Sports and Ricardo Lightborn tonight. This one goes out to Rodney Crippy Wilson. That's the kid who failed in the 6th grade and he's still trying to count how old he is. You figure that one out. The Grand Bahama Shipyard Benefit Fishing Tournament, folks, was held at the Grand Bahama Yacht Club with a family event, and this one was very, very successful. The anglers in this year's tournament had much to brag about. Franklin Cooper and the crew on the Scorpion used the tournament as a tune-up for Grand Key.
The season is pretty rough, you know, but anyway, we toughed it out, and you know, we got a couple of good ones while we were out there. We had a good time.
You got a big grouper, so it looked like you're ahead of the competition.
Well, it looks so, but you know, we went out and had a good time. You know, if we win, we win. If not, we had a good time. You know.
Team Take Ruben's Money finish in the mix, and they did just that. Took Ruben Bird's money.
So we just did it. We just beat him today. We caught more fish than him, so now he owes us stone crabs.
And tell us, what did you guys do today, and what was it?
We wound up catching, I think, 6 dolphins and some barracudas, and that was pretty much it. Couldn't find a wahoo or a tuna to save our lives.
What was the secret to the day being out there?
Hard work. It's a secret to life.
That has a good day for you guys.
Absolutely, great day. Had a good time.
Tell me for you why you guys decided to fish this tournament this time.
You know what? It's a great cause for the kids here. We all do business here in the island with the shipyards, and it's good to give back. And it's nice to come here and have fun with friends and give back to the community, because without this, we would wind up having to go overseas and bring the ships very far away. So it's a good thing.
The real action landed a 68-pound wahoo, and second overall this year. Norman Timberley was all smiles.
It was rough a bit at the beginning, but it was slow. We caught that big fish about half an hour before the end of fishing, so we were very happy to get such a big fish. And then we caught another one, the second wahoo. We have 4 wahoo and about, I don't know, 8 or 10 barracudas.
The teams that fished were all for a worthy cause. The family affair, the Grand Bahama Yacht Club. Opportunity to take a group shot, never passed up. The bouncing castle for the kids was the kicker. The water slide was worth the attraction on the day. Come on, bookie, more water for the kids. I mean, yeah, the shipyard actually was a great time. It was an opportunity for many of the vendors to showcase their services, one-on-one interaction with their clients and potential clients. BTC is one of the major sponsors of the Benefit Fishing Tournament and gave those in attendance opportunity to win and win big. Senior Manager of Public Relations Jerome Sawyer said the sponsorship of the tournament was a no-brainer for BTC.
One of the things that's important to us is being involved and present in communities. And when I say communities, I mean communities across the Bahamas. It's not just New Providence. And I always make the joke that we in Nassau are very selfish sometimes, and we think the Bahamas revolves around us. But when this idea to sponsor this event was presented to us again this year, it came with the caveat that, you know, this is a major event for Grand Bahama, particularly because of the charity work that's involved. And for us, charity work in a community is very, very important.
Well, Abaco Youth Baseball League on the diamond this weekend, folks, and North Abaco defeated South Abaco Baseball 16-11. And Moselle Smith was 3 for 5 and also 6 RBIs. Oscar Pritchard got the win and also gave us a made it and struck out 16 batters. A loss with the Dylan Albury. As far as Grand Bahama Little League play, let me tell you that the Kelly's West Indian Flamingos, they defeated GB Port Authority Lions 17-4 in the coach pitching fair. In the minor game, the Paytime Sports Predators held off the Palomers Lions 14-7. The Boca Buccaneers over the Predators 23-10. In a major game, and Coca-Cola 0, they nipped the FES Predators 7-5. Now, from the legacy side of things, in the 7A division, the Palomers Dodgers outscoring the Burger King Rockies 11-6. In the 9-10 division, the Paradox Rockies, they over the Palomers Dodgers 18-3. And Burger King Rockies defeated the Hull Industry Blue Jays 9-0. In the interleague affair, the Boca Buccaneers and Bethel Books Dodgers played to a 9-9 tie. Burger King Rockies close out the Hull Industries 2-0. And 11-12 scoreboard, it was match point Blue Jays. They nipped the Rolls Janitorial Reds 5-4. And the GB Little League Tigers 11. GB Little League Pelican Bay Flyers 5, and the match point Blue Jays over the Rolls Janitorial Red Sox 1-1 was the tie as well. So those kids are playing a lot of baseball and having quite a bit of fun. Let's look at your sports. And Rodney, you still can't count. That's it tonight.